Hey everyone, welcome back to another review. Today we're going to take a look at the new PNSO Microraptor, which is one of 6 new figures recently released by them. This Microraptor, along with the other 5 figures that was released with it, were originally part of a set called 7 Little Chinese Dinosaurs. It was originally a China Post exclusive. It came in a big box set, but I'm happy that PNSO finally released those figures singly. The 7th figure in that set has already been released in the mini line. It was the Microraptor. So before we take a closer look at the figure, let's take a quick look at the box that it comes in. Now, I keep saying these figures are minifigures, but it appears that PNSO has now put them in the Prehistoric Animal Models line. So it has the number designation 22. It's not part of the mini collection. I think that one's up to number 48. But it does come in a nice high quality box. It's actually a better quality box than the other animals in the Prehistoric Animal Models line, like the Ankylosaurus and the Stegosaurus. Those boxes were very, very thin, and they absolutely got beat up during shipping. And these boxes actually came in pretty unscathed. PNSO always likes to give their dinosaurs a name, so this Microraptor is Guoyan. I think I'm saying it right. But you got a nice full art picture of the Microraptor on the front of the box. Same thing on the other side. On the bottom you have, inside you have product information. And that's about it for the box. You do get a little pamphlet with the Microraptor with, I think, probably a little story that comes with almost every PNSO model. See that right here, and a little drawing of the Microraptor. So a couple quick things about Microraptor. It is from the early Cretaceous period. It is found in China. There are currently 3 species recognized as Microraptor. It is also one of the best known Dromaeosaurs. There's over 300 specimens of Microraptor currently in museum collections. One of the coolest things about Microraptor is there are so many well-preserved specimens preserving these feathers, and they preserve so well paleontologists were able to tell by studying fossilized pigment cells of what color this animal actually was, and it was primarily black with this iridescent coat over it. But we'll get more into the detail in a second. I'm just going to do a couple quick measurements on this guy. So let's take a couple quick measurements of this figure. This Microraptor is about 5 inches long from the tip of the snout to the tip of the tail, or 127 millimeters. Microraptor was not a big animal. They're roughly about 2.5 to 3 feet long. So with those measurements, that would put this figure in the 1/7 scale to the 1/10 scale range. So let's take a closer look at some of the finer details on this figure. You can see the eyes are painted green with a black pupil, and you have a yellow plumage on top of the head, and the mouth is also painted in yellow, and the rest of the body is just painted in this shiny black paint with this iridescence along the back of the wings. Like I said earlier, we actually do know the color of this animal, which I think is just absolutely fantastic. I like it when we have those very few dinosaur models where we have a pretty good idea of what the color of these animals were. And also, it's kind of tough to pick up on camera. There are actually little tiny flecks of like this electric blue paint. It's either sculpted into the black or it's painted on, and it just really gives it that nice iridescent shine. It's really hard to pick up on camera, but when you have this in hand, you look, there's very tiny flecks of this electric blue iridescence all over the figure, which I think is a really cool touch. The feathers are very well sculpted on this figure. A lot of fine details on the feathers for such a small model. You can see all the primary and secondary feathers are sculpted in beautifully, and even the second set of wings along the hind legs right here are sculpted beautifully, and I love the tail plumage on this figure. It looks absolutely fantastic. Even underneath, they added the iridescence on the wings and along the wings on the feet. Just all around a beautifully painted figure. All the claws on the hands and feet are painted in black. You still have more of that yellow going down the throat of this animal. Now, there's a lot of debate about Microraptor. If it could fly, could it glide? Could it glide from tree to tree? How far could it glide? Could it parachute down on animals? There's a lot that goes into the biomechanics of this animal, which I would probably have to make a totally separate video that was probably like at least a half hour long just to go over all the theories of how this animal moved around with those feathers. So let's put this guy down and we're going to move on to some comparison with some other feathered dromaeosaurids from other companies. Alright, first up for comparison is the obvious one. Here it is with the Safari Ltd Microraptor. I do love the Safari Ltd Microraptor. It's a beautiful figure, but I do like the PNSO one just a little bit better because they added that iridescence on the model. And this one just is primarily just a flat black color. Kind of wish they maybe even just gave it like a gloss coat just to make those feathers look nice and shiny, but still a fantastic Microraptor figure. And next up is the Safari Ltd Archaeopteryx, which is another fantastic feathered dinosaur. And I like how they gave the iridescence on this Archaeopteryx. It's very similar to the iridescence on this PNSO one. Kind of wish they did that with their own Microraptor. And next up is the very famous dromaeosaurid Velociraptor. This is Safari's feathered Velociraptor, which is an absolutely excellent looking figure. Probably one of the best Velociraptors on the market currently. And next up is the Rebor Deinonychus. Another company really needs to give Deinonychus some love. I would love to see a large feathered Deinonychus figure from definitely from Safari. I would even like to see PNSO tackle this dinosaur. I just feel like Deinonychus just doesn't get the love it deserves. It's just always overshadowed by Velociraptor. And last but not least, here it is with the Dromaeosaurus from the Beast of the Mesozoic line. And actually this Microraptor is pretty much in scale with the size of this Dromaeosaurus. This is a 1/6 scale Dromaeosaurus figure, and like I said, this is roughly 1/7 to 1/10 scale depending on what size measurements you use. I think these two figures look absolutely fantastic next to each other, and this Dromaeosaurus is definitely one of my favorite raptors from the Beast of the Mesozoic series. Final thoughts on this Microraptor. It is my favorite out of the 6 new figures from PNSO. I highly recommend this model. It's beautifully sculpted and painted, and it's highly scientifically accurate. I ended up picking up my set of 6 figures off of Amazon. They sell the whole set for $39.99. It takes a few weeks to come from China. If you don't want to get the whole set, your best bet is probably trying to purchase these off singly on eBay or maybe even AliExpress. I will leave a link in the description to Amazon if you're interested in ordering this new set of dinosaurs from PNSO. So that will do it for the review, guys. If anyone has picked up these figures or even have the figures from the older 7 Little Dinosaurs set, let me know what you think about this figure in the comments. I will be reviewing the other 5 figures in the next coming weeks, so be on the lookout for those reviews. And that will do it for the review, guys. As always, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Each subscription helps out the channel tremendously, and I'll greatly appreciate it. I'll see you guys for the next one.